Hey folks, welcome back to the Western Southerner YouTube channel. About 98.9% of the people that watch these videos are not subscribed, so if you find these videos helpful and subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. Okay, so I got to my camper this morning and my pipes were frozen, so I think I've avoided a crisis. It's the evening time now, and I don't have any water anywhere, but I'm going to go through and kind of show you what happened and what I did, how I dealt with it, and kind of show you the holes in my system of how to keep my pipes from freezing, and in hopes that it helps somebody in the future. So stay tuned. Okay folks, so I've got an Arctic Fox 25R. It's a 4-season camper, and I use it kind of like a remote office. I come down here a couple days a week. Sometimes I stay overnight, but I do need to have water hooked up to it. Now this camper is plugged into 30 amp power all the time. I'm plugged in here, 30 amp, and that's the heater for the water hose and the water line. And I have a heated water hose that runs into the camper. There's some heater tape element on the water spigot as well. This is a heated water hose. I do have a valve here. I can turn the water off if I want. So what I've been doing in this camper is leaving an electric heater plugged in, because the power, is part of the rent here. So the idea is that if I can run an electric heater, I can minimize the amount of propane I use and, just be more cost effective. I do have full propane out on the front of this thing. Unfortunately, I didn't have, the propane on. Power went off, and when the power turned back on, my heater did not turn back on. So I'll show you what happened. Okay, this is a great little heater, a little 1500 watt heater. Has a thermostat, it's got a remote on it, it's got a digital kind of plug in here. But if the power goes off and this thing is on, if you're not there to turn it back on, the power does not turn back on automatically on this heater. If it had an analog switch, right, the power would turn back on. And so when I got in this morning, it was 28 degrees inside the camper. It has not been very cold down here. This area isn't nearly as cold as the area I'm normally in where I live. So, I kind of figured, okay, like I've got another couple weeks before I have to worry about leaving the propane heat on and, having the thermostat all the way down, and really worrying about the pipe freeze. But boy, was I wrong. I mean, these pipes were frozen this morning. Funny enough, this side of the camper, this is where the water comes in. And this is also where the heated water hose is, okay? This also gets sun first thing in the morning. This side of the camper, it stays in the shade, and that's where the sink and everything is. You can see I got the bottom here still open. And I'll show you what froze. So these pipes down here froze, okay? You can see I've got some paper towels. These are all dry. We're good. I'm good to go right now. Now the bathroom sink shower here, they were running fine. That side did not freeze actually. It was this side over here that froze. So I turned my water on, and a little dribble came out, but obviously the PEX pipe was frozen down there. At that point I was obviously worried, so I turned the heater back on, got everything thawed out, and then saw a little bit of water dripping down by the PEX pipes. And initially I thought it was condensation. I didn't think there was actually a leak. But then as things kind of warmed up more and more, I noticed that there was actually a leak. Crawl underneath again and show you what was going on. Okay, so this is PEX pipe, and I guess it's supposed to be fairly freeze resistant or freeze durable. I don't want to freeze anything no matter what. It's actually leaking at these hose clamps. 1, 2, 3. Now, I don't know much about PEX, but I got a funny feeling that may not be proper PEX protocol or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I don't know. And so what this does is, this is my my water tank here, and it hooks up. Anyway, there was water droplets coming down from these hose clamps. So I actually just took a screwdriver, a flathead screwdriver, and I tightened each one of those clamps up, and they immediately quit leaking. I did that one, I did that one. I kind of soaked up the little bit of water that was coming out. Wasn't very much. And then I ended up doing that one also. And everything seemed to be okay. A little worried that maybe I'd crack these plastic fittings, but it doesn't seem like, and they're dry as a bone right now. You can see my hands, and obviously these paper towels are dry, so it didn't seem like there was any cracks in the plastic. That one's dry, a little chilly, but dry. So I have this, oil heater plugged in at this point. It's just like a Walmart oil heater, actually. Mainstays, I think. 1500 watts. It's putting off quite a bit of heat, actually, and it's 72 degrees in here. 57. That's by my water tank. 39 degrees outside right now. This camper doesn't have tank heaters in the bottom. It works is that the forced air furnace pipes air underneath the floor around the water tanks and gray and black water tanks, and that's what keeps the plumbing thawed out. And you can see there's one vent here, 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 and then one in the bathroom. Now the furnace is right down in there, right? So that's really close to the pipes down there that I was just showing you. They're down in there. Obviously, if you're using a propane furnace, you're not going to have to worry about your pipes freezing. I guess I was being a little bit of a cheapskate, hoping that I could just get away with the electric furnace. Definitely going to have to leave on this propane furnace and just keep the thermostat pushed all the way down. Got to kind of figure out where the sweet spot is with my electric heater thermostat, so that I can use that as my primary heat. If the propane needs to come on, that's okay. I do have a little bit of this Reflectix left over, essentially bubble wrap foil, so it gives a little bit of insulation and reflects heat, which will be handy. I think I'll probably tuck some of that in there behind the pipes. And I'm gonna go to the hardware store and just get some good old-fashioned, foam insulation here. So I'll probably put a couple of sticks of that on there as well. I'm a little torn on whether or not I should use the pipe insulation, because I don't want to insulate it and keep it cold. I want to make sure that the heat can still access the pipe. So I'm a little on the fence with that right now, but I went ahead and got some anyway. This thing has been like really warm as long as I had an electric heater on. I've had a couple nights in here where it was in the 20s, maybe 19 degrees. And that was fine as long as that electric heater was going. But man, let me tell you, as soon as that heat turns off, this thing gets cold pretty quickly. Okay, so 66 degrees inside, 40 degrees outside, 55 down in the guts here. I've got this guy on still, and my thermostat still hasn't kicked on yet, so it's good at 66. That's at 69 right there. Put a layer of Reflectix in there, and then some of this pipe insulation. I trimmed it out so that a little bit of the warm air could get to it. I guess this makes sense. I might put some more Reflectix in here too, up against the wall here as well, and maybe that hole go down that whole wall. Maybe even down here on the floor as well. You'll see. I just gotta kind of assess and see what makes the most sense. It's 57 degrees down in the kind of the back corner where the water heater is and the pipes. The area didn't get that cold. My bathroom pipes were working fine, I think because of the heated water hose. So I think what I'll do is I'll probably move that sensor a little bit further up and keep it underneath the kitchen sink in here. 57 in there right now. A couple other potential solutions. One would obviously be to put the skirting around the RV, right? Skirting is some kind of insulating material that you wrap around the bottom in order to keep cold air from getting underneath, and you just kind of create a microclimate underneath the travel trailer. The other option would be that I either rent or buy a big propane tank, have it out front, and just use propane from that. One more thing I thought about doing was maybe getting one of those little cameras, the blink camera or the ring camera or whatever, and mount it in here. I do have some Wi-Fi, and a lot of times those cameras have a temperature sensor in them, and so you can get an idea of what the temperature is. Folks, I didn't plan on making this video, but hopefully it's helpful to someone. Maybe it's just a few tools for your toolbox. Thanks for watching, and hit like and subscribe if this is a helpful video, and take care, everybody. Thanks.